Card counting is the only possible way to beat a casino. Of course, you need to have a very good memory, as the strategy consists to count and remember all cards. Note that on a blackjack game, there are 6 decks of cards, and sometimes 8, depends of the casino. Card counters are able to remember the 6 decks of cards. And then they know when they have advantage to the bank, and when the bank takes advantage. It is not easy to remember 6 decks of cards, so some card counters used to apply this system. But with different peoples, as example, 4 peoples pretending not to know each other sit on a blackjack table and start playing. Then these 4 persons will count a part of the deck. Let's say, the first card's quarter is counted by the first person, the second quarter counted by the second person, and so on. Counting cards can be broken into 4 steps. Step 1, assign a value to every card. Step 2, keep a running count based off of the values of the card dealt. Step 3, use this information to calculate the count per deck or true count. Step 4, change your bets as the true count rises. Card counting is a casino card game strategy used primarily in the blackjack family of casino games to determine whether the next hand is likely to give a probable advantage to the player or to the dealer. Card counters are a class of advantage players. To attempt to decrease the inherent casino house edge by keeping a running tally of all high and low valued cards seen by the player. Card counting allows players to bet more with less risk when the count gives an advantage as well as minimize losses during an unfavorable count. Card counting also provides the ability to alter playing decisions based on the composition of remaining cards. Card counting, also referred to as card reading, often refers to obtaining a sufficient count on the number, distribution and high card location of cards in trick-taking games, such as contract bridge or spades, to optimize the winning of tricks. The basics. The most common variations of card counting in blackjack are based on statistical evidence that high cards, especially aces and tens, benefit the player more than the dealer, while the low cards, such as the 3, 4, 6 and especially the 5, help the dealer while hurting the player. A high concentration of aces and tens in the deck increases the player's chances of hitting a natural blackjack, which pays out 3-2, unless the dealer also has blackjack. Also, when the shoe has a high concentration of tens, players have a better chance of winning when doubling. Low cards benefit the dealer, since according to blackjack rules the dealer must hit stiff hands, 12 to 16 total, while the player has the option to hit or stand. Thus a dealer holding, on 12 to 16, will bust every time if the next card drawn is a 10, making this card essential to track when card counting. Contrary to the popular myth, card counters do not need unusual mental abilities to count cards, because they are not tracking and memorizing specific cards. Instead, card counters assign a point score to each card they see that estimates the value of that card, and then they track the sum of these values, a process called keeping a running count. The myth that counters keep track of every card was portrayed in the 1988 film Rain Man, in which the savant character Raymond Babbitt counts through 6 decks with ease, and a casino employee wrongly comments that it is impossible to count 6 decks. The system's basic card counting assigns a positive, negative, or 0 value to each card value available. When a card of that value is dealt, the count is adjusted by that card's counting value. Low cards increase the count as they increase the percentage of high cards in the remaining set of cards, while high cards decrease it for the opposite reason. For instance, the high-low system subtracts 1 for each dealt 10, jack, queen, king or ace, and adds 1 for any value 2 to 6. Values 7 to 9 are assigned a value of 0 and therefore do not affect the count. The goal of a card counting system is to assign point values that roughly correlate to a card's effect of removal, the EOR. The EOR is the actual effect of removing a given card from play, and the resulting impact on the house advantage. The player may gauge the effect of removal for all cards dealt, and assess the current house advantage of a game based on the remaining cards. as larger ratios between point values are used to create better correlation to actual OR with the goal of increasing the efficiency of a system. Such systems use more different numbers and are broken into classes depending on such as level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. With regards to the ratio between the highest and lowest assigned point values, the high-low system is considered a level 1 count, because the running count never increases or decreases by more than a single, predetermined value. A multi-level count, such as N count, Wong has or High Opt 2, makes finer distinctions between card values to gain greater play accuracy. Rather than all cards having a value of +1, 0, or -1, an advanced count might also include card ranks that are counted as +2 and -2. Or +0.5 and -0.5. Advanced players might additionally maintain a side count, a separate count, of specific cards, such as a side count aces, to deal with situations where the best count for betting accuracy differs from the best count for playing accuracy. Many side count techniques exist, including special purpose counts used when attacking games with non-standard profitable play options such as an over/under-side bet. The disadvantage of higher level counts is that keeping track of more information can detract from the ability to play quickly and accurately. A card counter might earn more money by playing a simple count quickly, more hands per hour played, than by playing a complex count slowly. The following table illustrates a few ranking systems for card counting. Many others exist. Design and selection of systems. The primary goal of a card counting system is to assign point values to each card that roughly correlates to the card's effect of removal or EOR. That is, the effect a single card has on the house advantage once removed from play, thus enabling the player to gauge the house advantage based on the composition of cards still to be dealt. Larger ratios between point values can better correlate to actual EOR, but add complexity to the system. Counting systems may be referred to as level 1, level 2, and so on, corresponding to the number of different point values the system calls for. The ideal system is a system that is usable by the player and offers the highest average dollar return per period of time when dealt at a fixed rate. With this in mind, systems aim to achieve a balance of efficiency in 3 categories. Betting correlation. When the sum of all the permutations of the undealt cards offer a positive expectation to a player using optimum playing strategy. There is a positive expectation to a player placing a bet. A system's betting correlation gauges how effective a system is at informing the user of this situation. Playing efficiency. A portion of the expected profit comes from modifying playing strategy based on the known altered composition of cards. For this reason, a system's playing efficiency gauges how effectively it informs the player to modify strategy according to the actual composition of undealt cards. A system's playing efficiency is important when the effect of playing efficiency has a large impact on total gain, as in single and double-deck games. Insurance correlation. A portion of expected gain from counting cards comes from taking the insurance bet, which becomes profitable at high counts. An increase in insurance correlation will offer additional value to a card counting system. The observation of the ace plays a key role in such a way that when the ace has a distinct point value, you will see an increase in betting correlation since the ace is the most valuable card in the deck. However, alerting the player to the presence of additional aces in a deck decreases the efficiency of altering play decisions based on the count, lowering a system's playing efficiency. Since the ace offers very little value when playing out a hand, if a system does not assign a point value to an ace, it will see a decrease in betting correlation with an increase in playing efficiency. In a situation in which the change in playing efficiency will offer a greater gain than a slight loss of betting correlation, such a system is preferable. One way to deal with such trade-offs is to ignore the ace to yield higher playing efficiency while keeping a side count which is used to detect addition change in efficiency value, which the player will use to detect additional betting opportunities which ordinarily would not be indicated by the primary card counting system. It is most common to keep a side count of aces since it is the most important card in terms of achieving a balance of betting correlation and playing efficiency. In theory, a player could keep a side count of every card and achieve a near 100% playing efficiency. However, methods involving additional side counts for playing efficiency become more complex at an exponential rate as you add more side counts, and the ability of the human mind is quickly overtasked and unable to make the necessary computations. Since there is the potential to create an overtaxing demand on the human mind while using a card counting system, another important design consideration is the ease of use. Higher-level systems, and systems with side counts, will obviously become more difficult, and in an attempt to make them easier, unbalanced systems eliminate the need for a player to keep tabs on the number of cards deck that have already entered play, typically at the expense of lowering playing efficiency. This was the course about counting cards in the blackjack game. It is not easy, as you will need a very good memory if you want to try cards counting. By the way, if you want to experience this system, you can do a group counting, as example 4 or 5 peoples as a group for cards counting. Thanks for watching. Gambling Tips by Casino Tech.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.